All right, in 3, 2, 1.
Go! Get to the podcast!
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a podcast?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and
podcast.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hey everybody, welcome to Get to the Podcast. That's Get to the Podcast with the number 2. My name is Diego D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
All right, dude. We're gonna do this.
All right, dude. Hi, Bill, what is it? Bill Esquire. What is it?
Bill
Is his last name Esquire?
William Bill
Ted-
S. Preston Esquire.
Yes.
Whoa.
And Theodore Ted
Theodore.
Logan.
Ted
Theodore
Logan. That's
Ted.
right. Alex Winter and
Awesome.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. I haven't
Bill
seen
and-
Alex Winter in anything, though, in a long time.
Do you announce?
He's actually more behind the scenes. I think he does more directing type stuff these days
Okay.
more often. He was also, so we're talking Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and now the new one, Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yeah.
Which is a good title. I think it's a good title. You know what I like? What are you gonna say?
It's funny. Like when I was younger, I remember loving Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey because it just was like it seemed like a bigger budget film, and it was like more crazy, and like death was there, and
Oh,
but then
that's
at
a crazy one. Yeah.
Then the ending, I felt like was always unsatisfying to me. The whole thing where like the future is like music and rock and roll, and then they like have all those guys rock out playing a guitar, and I know that's like a huge part, the
air guitar.
which is Steve Vai who
thing.
did all that.
Yeah.
Steve Vai is like a incredible guitarist.
Here's my thing with this film. Is it needed? Is it going to be that? Is it just made for fans?
Right.
Is it?
Yeah. That's what.
Oh, that's
It's
what
so
that's
hard.
what all the remakes in are because they have a
It's
built-in
so
fan
hard.
base, so they
But that's
are
like
made.
the Ghostbusters
But-
that's coming out. It's like,
Oh,
do
but
we
that's
need-
gonna be
See, but Ghostbusters
They already
is
did
totally
a
different
reboot,
than
and now
Bill and
they're
Ted.
like undoing
this
the reboot.
new one.
No, no,
They're not undoing it.
Yeah,
They're just
they're not
doing a
undoing
different
it.
thing.
All right.
All right, you need to calm
Here's the
down.
thing. Ghostbusters is
All
totally
right,
different
Leslie
than
Jones.
Ghostbusters is totally different than a Bill and Ted because Bill and Ted is more a specific time period piece.
Like Wayne's World.
Exactly.
I would love to see
plays
Wayne's
to
World.
the,
I don't
heavy,
know,
the
do I
heavy
wanna-
metal of the 80s and the 90s,
Exactly.
early 90s.
You know what it is? It's all these people in their like mid 30s, early 40s that want to relive their childhood, so they're
Yeah.
demanding that Hollywood make sequels.
It's
with
midlife
all the-
crisis.
It's all
that
these
midlife crisis.
It's all
it
these
is.
people stuck in their high school glory days,
Yeah.
can't move on, working their dead end jobs.
Yeah, and they're just like, bring back fucking.
It's
this
all
movie.
these
Wayne's World
old-
3 is gonna happen.
It's all these old time directors either having a midlife or end life crisis.
Yeah.
So-
Well, here's the thing about
I mean,
it.
if there's money,
Okay,
people will
I
do it.
actually-
That's
I think it's
Hollywood,
cool.
man.
It's great.
So here's actually what I like about it. So originally when I heard it, and there was like a bunch of fans were demanding, and they always demand remakes, and certain people are like, don't fucking remake anything, don't give me any sequels 20, 30 years later, and some people are like, no, please give it to them, and then finally just do it, because why not? Like, why the fuck not? And these guys haven't gotten together.
Quite a few remakes that have been like awful.
Yeah, totally. But a lot of times, with the more diehard fans of these things are always like so excited and want a sequel. Like there's people demanding this Bill and Ted sequel. But the thing about it is, I was kind of like, oh, but why? Like I don't know what they're gonna do and how they're gonna make this feel right. But then when they released the synopsis of it, I was kind of like, oh, I get it. Like that actually kind of is an interesting angle. And the way it reads here is now enduring the monotony of middle-aged life, Bill and Ted are warned by a visitor from the future of the need for them to create a song that will save all life in the universe. The pair work with their families, old friends, and famous musicians to complete the task. That's not the best. I've read a deeper description than that. But basically, the idea is they were supposed to, if you remember those original movies, they were basically revered in the future almost as gods, right? They were the ones who kind of like everything, all of society was modeled around
They
them.
wrote a song that made everybody
Yes,
sane.
it brought everybody together, and it basically saved
Universal
the future
peace.
of human. Yes, exactly. Which is a ridiculous concept, but it's also just funny and different and whatever, right?
Yeah.
But the whole point is now it's 2019 or whenever it's coming out, 2020, and they're now just middle-aged guys. They're not. They were high school kids back then.
Yeah.
They were young guys doing this thing, and now they're kind of like at a dead-end job. They never fulfilled their destiny.
Yeah.
They're not the Wyld Stallyns anymore doing
Wild
anything.
Stallions.
Exactly.
Everybody knows
does it.
that. Yeah.
But like they're not doing that anymore, and
Yeah.
they're just like in a rut, which is what a lot of that happens with these
Yeah.
kind of guys. That if you don't end up in that music world, you end up doing
So the
just
audience
the normal
is
shit.
basically going to be like them.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
then in the movie, they're going to go above and beyond what the audience is
That's
doing.
right. So now they have to basically I think there's a ticking time bomb kind of thing. Like you need to create this song like immediately.
Yeah.
I want to say that Keanu Reeves said somewhere that like even maybe it was in that announcement video or somewhere where it's like they have like 3 minutes, or it was on Fallon or something. They have like 3 minutes to come up with the song, or 5 minutes to write this song at one point. Like it's like you have to do this now. We don't have time anymore. Like things are about to go fucking to shit unless you do this. And now they're like, I haven't been able to do it for 30 years. Like they have not been able to fulfill this destiny since that second movie or the first, both of them probably. And now it's like, time's up, man.
Yeah.
Like you got to face the music, and that's what it's about. If you, there's no way this movie would be anything. It's weird. It's a weird thing, but that's what those first two movies are. That second movie, especially, which you like, which is Bogus Journey.
I
which
like both of them. I like both of them,
So do I. But
but-
I did love that second one. It is
Yeah.
really weird. The robots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fucking evil robot versions of themselves. The
There was
the
so
death.
much
They played
weird-
Twister. Like
There
all
was-
those
yeah.
games against death, played by William Sadler.
Yeah.
They play in the game. They end up winning on. I think was Twister.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that hall they go. Remember, like his grandmother, Alex Winter's like grandmother or whatever, who's like chasing him down that fucking weird winding maze hall, trying to give him a kiss. That movie is so whacked out. I'm like,
Yeah.
how much acid was consumed by the
lot.
creators? A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
I think I have a lot of concerns about this film because it's kind of like the topic. It's almost dated.
Yeah.
But it's also not, because right now you have a lot of pieces that are coming out that are period pieces
Yeah.
from musicians.
Right.
You know, we just had
Oh, you mean like
Rocket
Rocket
Man
Man,
come out. We
Bohemian
had
Rhapsody.
yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so
They're talking about
now
a
we have
sequel.
Even
or
Dirt
something.
on Netflix, which is Motley
Dirt.
Crue.
Aren't
Yeah,
they doing
Dirt,
a sequel to
which that
Bohemian
was
Rhapsody?
great.
I feel like that.
I don't know.
From Beyond the Grave. Like what?
The
I
guy, the lead,
Rami Malek.
Rami Malek,
the current, no, not Rami Malek, the guy who's in
Adam Lambert.
the band.
No.
Queen. Queen.
No, talking about the
spit it
band.
out!
the guitarist of Queen, who's like
Oh.
still alive, who
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
worked on the film. Like
Yeah,
he said
just-
that they're making a sequel, and I'm like, I don't know, you guys just try and get money now.
Yeah,
Like,
there's not
it's
really
just-
much
like,
more.
I
I mean,
get
did
it.
you see it?
What do you?
Did you
No,
see
I haven't
Bohemian?
seen
Did
it.
you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I-
not much
I
more-
felt like this
it
movie-
ended.
Yeah, it ended. I
So
thought it
it's-
was good.
I
I
don't
don't
Yeah,
need
like
a
what is
sequel.
the sequel gonna be? Maybe because a lot of people were upset. Maybe they didn't focus on, the death.
You know what
It's-
happened?
yeah, but, like, you didn't
know
need
what
to just
happened
see
is that
him go-
we're
you
going to
saw it
just
a
have a
little
scene
bit.
of his death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
No,
they
the
show.
struggle and all that. That's
Yeah,
like-
they could just
they
do
wanted
one about
a
him. It could be a
drama.
Freddie Mercury,
They should have somebody else.
Wow, he just did like a Black Power fist. Boom! And then he sneezed. What was that?
I was trying to get
shooting
weight.
all the,
That was
I was trying to get a
energy
hold.
That was the
Sneeze.
strangest image.
But the
I wish I had a
sneeze just
video of
came
that.
out. Sorry. No, I don't know. He's probably got a lot of good residual from that film, and he's like, "Hey, let's do another one." Yeah.
Might be, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I thought it was good. By the way, real quick, did you know who played? I think it's that character he played. The guy who played, I think it was the guitarist, or whatever, in Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm gonna show him to you and tell me if you know who this is.
Is it an actor or an
Yeah,
actual guitarist?
It's an actor. It's an actor, and I had no idea.
Describe him.
He had long hair. They all
No,
did.
I'm saying you have to describe him because it's an
Mike
audio
Myers?
podcast.
You talking about Mike Myers?
What's that?
I haven't seen the movie. I know Mike Myers is in it.
Yeah, Mike Myers is in it. They actually do a kind of Wayne's World reference in it.
Which is like,
what?
I mean,
Wayne's World.
It's
like
funny.
Wayne's World came out after he passed, no?
Yeah.
Or did this concert
Yeah, it was
occur
right after.
before?
No, it was right after.
Okay.
Yeah, so it came out right
So
after, and they
I don't
they
know, the
basically
reference seems kind of like if Wayne's World had come out and then like this concert happened and he passed and there was like some sort of
he doesn't
connection
reference
that
Wayne's
way.
World that way. He plays a record producer guy that does not want to release Bohemian Rhapsody as a single. He's like, it will never get radio play. No kids are going to be playing it in their car. That was the whole point. He references it in that way. He's like, this is not something that people are going to listen to in their car. But it's not like a wink to the camera because it is so, they kind of go quickly by it. in
Michael
this
Myers
big
doesn't
ang-
look at the camera and
No,
like,
he's like,
acknowledge the
no.
audience's
It's
existence.
funny because they're kind of like they're in this big battle against each other, and then
Yeah.
he throws that comment out, and you're like, oh, that's fucking Mike Myers. You
Yeah.
have to know the reference.
Yeah, but everybody knows the reference, man. Come
Why are
on.
you the way you are?
It just seems like,
Okay,
hokey.
this guy right here.
Explain to him.
Okay, he's got curly hair. I think he played the guitarist. He's right there on the right side. Tell me if you know who that is. I had no idea until I was reading something or watching some behind the scenes thing, and then I looked up who he
This guy
was.
looks very familiar.
Dude, I'm gonna blow your tits off for a second. You know who that is? Show it to Diego. See if you know. This is a little impromptu
Like
quiz.
an 80s actor?
No, not 80s, 90s.
90s actor?
Kind of right. Do you know who that is? So he's a main part of Bohemian
The
Rhapsody.
hair's
He's
not
one of the
normal.
4 Queen guys.
Yeah.
He's is that what's his name that plays Will?
Was he in Flight of the Navigator?
Nope.
Oh.
No,
He
shit.
looks like one of those child actors
I
that's
got
grown up. That's what he looks like to me.
No, he was in Batman.
Nope.
No.
No. Okay. You want to tell you?
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right. You know you play the fucking game, you piece of shit.
Oh, all right.
tried.
Well, I feel
No,
like
no.
it was either Flight of the Navigator. It could be Explorers.
No, you're too early on that. So I'm just gonna tell you. He's the fucking kid from Jurassic Park. The little kid
Oh,
from Jurassic
shit,
Park.
yes.
Yeah.
That's who I fucking because
golly.
Dude,
I remember.
he looks different.
Yeah,
He does.
yeah.
Tall, lanky, big
I-
nose. Like he
I saw an
looks
article about him and I was like, oh, I thought this kid died for some reason, but he's still.
Jesus Christ.
Whoa.
And he looks like way different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I remember
You
seeing
need
a
to
photo
just
of
stop
him.
reading
Yeah.
just
But
headlines.
All
It's-
these child actors in Hollywood get murdered
Stop
or
reading
raped
headlines.
or something. Isn't that a normal thing in Hollywood?
Yeah, that is the. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's normal with child actors.
You just-
They
you
get
need to
taken
read beyond
advantage of.
headlines.
Their parents, like, the producers are like,
Yeah.
give us all your money and your parents are
Here's
evil.
here's what happened with Niels. He reads an article and said Steven Spielberg dies. He's like, oh, he's dead. But then it says laughing.
what you do.
But then it says laughing.
Dies laughing. He doesn't complete the headline even.
He's like,
That's
oh
true.
shit.
That's
He
probably
dead?
that's probably what the article said.
No,
Actually,
you also catch Neil doing this one thing where he goes,
You ever see
I
those-
feel like if he starts a sentence like I feel like it's not based on fucking
Oh yeah,
anything.
That's why I say I feel like
Yeah.
because I have no valid proof that anything I'm about to say is true.
I feel like a million people died in the bum rush on Black Friday. Like,
Yeah.
trying to buy.
It
No,
was like
no.
a million.
I feel like nobody
Like a
died.
million.
But I feel
This
like
guy.
Maybe one person.
it exonerates you.
Somebody
in
died
a
at
court of
home
law.
watching it on
Yeah.
TV. That's
He
what
thinks
happened.
that's like
Steven
a legal
Spielberg
disclaimer.
dead? Damn.
No, you know how you have those clickbait things and it's like 30 child actors you can't believe are dead, and then like they show like his face,
Yeah.
but then he's never in the article. Like that's
You-
probably what
And it
happened.
shows, or
You're
like,
the
what do
guy-
they look like now? And it's got like a picture of like my daughter.
Yeah.
And then right next to is like Stan Lee, like 2 days before he died. It's like, what? Who fucking came up with this?
You're the guy that has IT on speed dial because you're always catching virus because you're always clicking on shit.
No, I have like 10 virus programs running. I know
Yo,
what's up.
it's me. Yep, got another one.
But so that guy,
love
Bohemian
me some
Rhapsody,
clickbait.
like if you watch Bohemian Rhapsody, I mean, he's throughout. He's a main character in the movie, and it's so weird because it does not look anything like him. You don't
Yeah.
get the vibe. Like, but that's the kid. Like he was in several movies. He was in The Cure with Brad Renfro in the 90s. He was. He was
I feel like there was
he was in
somebody
River
else.
Wild.
Isn't there somebody else in that movie that's like a child actor or something? Am I thinking of the guy who was in what's that movie?
Great, thanks. Can you
With,
broaden it a little bit
Kate
more?
Hudson when she first started.
Oh,
The rock
Almost
and roll
Famous.
movie.
Yeah,
Almost
yeah,
Famous.
yeah.
That
Almost
guy.
Famous. No, yeah,
Is
he
that
was.
guy in it?
No, he's not
No.
in it. Oh,
Okay.
well,
Matthew
did he show
McConaughey.
it?
No, the
No,
kid.
no,
The
no,
kid
no.
like
No,
grown
I'm
up.
sorry,
Like I
that's
feel
not-
like I've seen that
No,
kid
I know.
grown
Yeah,
up
he
in
was.
some
He was.
sort
He was
of
in. Was it
biopic
not
or
Stranger
something.
Things? He was. He was a cop in something not that long
Yeah,
ago. Yeah,
maybe that's what it
He was in
was.
like a uniformed cop. It was something. I was like, oh shit, him.
Was it like an indie movie?
It may have been. I want to say it was maybe even a show. What's
I
that
don't
Stranger
know.
Things? But this is important, guys. So everybody needs to hold on. The Bill and Ted Face the Music is on hold for a moment.
we should talk about that.
We faced the.
I mean, we just don't know a lot.
Random
They
tangents.
started production this year, like this month, right? Then they just
Yeah.
start filming it this month or
Have
something.
they actually started principal photography?
I think so.
You want to look it up real quick?
Look what up.
Wikipedia
If
said
they
did.
started,
Dude, we went in so much random conversation.
we're talking about Bill and
filming?
Ted. No, we're back to Bill and Ted.
Yeah, they're
It says
they're already
began
filming.
production June
Yeah,
2019.
they're ready.
Yeah, so they began production. June
So
19.
I don't
that
know.
means they're in production
18.
right now.
Principal photography, but
June 18.
June 18, yeah, but they just started production.
I think that's 2008.
Yeah, so they're still in production as we're recording this. Oh, he's in First Man. That's right.
First Man,
yeah,
that's what it was.
That's what it
Okay.
was. I remember.
But
yeah,
it's like
he was
I
an
saw him and I
astronaut.
was
He
like,
one
oh,
of the
that was like
astronauts
that little kid from that movie.
Yeah, I remember seeing him and then they killed him. I'm like, well, they didn't kill him. History killed him. He was a
Who
cop
did he
in
play?
Gone.
He played the
He played the guy, one of the
Grisham?
guys that ended up. He wasn't on the. Didn't actually go to the moon.
It was one of the Apollo 9 that blew up.
Yes, exactly. It was one of his friends who then died. I remember they were in the backyard doing the thing, and then Stanley Kubrick killed him so that he could properly fake the moon landing because he's like, we have to get rid of the people who were going to talk.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
That's what Joe Rogan said.
Yeah, I went whitewater rafting the other week, and we drove by like this big patch of like dirt, like white sandy dirt or whatever, and the guy on the bus was like, so to your right is where Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing. I was like, oh, we should take a
That's
picture
amazing.
for Neil.
I work for
Callie
this.
said
I
that.
work for this this elderly couple, and they were like watching the anniversary. What was it recently? The 50th anniversary of the moon landing.
Yeah, 69.
On CNN, and they played. They like jumped around like crazy, but these old people, these two like old elderly people were like in their 90s or whatever, like 100 years old, and they were just like commenting, like, I remember watching that and they're like crying during the whole thing, and they're like going, the emotions are like laughing and crying and shock and awe that man made it to the moon, and I'm just like, wow. I'm like, this whole generation is like. They grew up with it, but now you have all these kids that are like, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, they have this like divisive. Anyway, it was so interesting to me.
Yeah.
That they were like eating it up like fucking candy, man. They were like, "Oh my god," because they watched it on TV when it originally
That was
aired.
a
So to
big
them, it's
deal.
like, you know,
Could you imagine?
There's no question.
We're gonna be there when we land on Mars. When a person actually sets foot on Mars, that's gonna be in our lifetime, as long as we don't die.
I hope so.
Soon, which we might. So it's gonna be interesting. Something you.
all the
Many
nukes
options for
that
you.
the Russian nukes.
Take your pick off a menu. You're definitely gonna die.
No, I'm gonna outlive everybody.
You are. You and a couple cockroaches, and maybe like Keith Richards. He was also the kid from Almost Famous. Was a cop in Gone Girl. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why I was like, he was a cop in something. He was in Gone Girl.
That's what it was.
But Bill and Ted Face the Music though.
Yeah.
William Sadler's coming back.
Is he?
He was in When They See Us on Netflix. That limited series. He played one of the cops that was interrogating the kids. But he's not coming back. Is he coming back to face the music?
Back. Yeah,
as
he's
Death.
Death.
As Death?
He's coming back as Death.
Interesting. He actually played two parts in that in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. He played at the end when all the people were on TV, like across the world, were dancing in their living rooms watching the TV. Do you remember that? He was one of the guys. He was like in a tie with his family or whatever, and he was.
Oh,
dancing.
he just played like a normal guy.
Yeah, like a random normal guy, but he also was Death.
Right.
Do you remember the move when he's like dancing on stage with his scythe and he flips it and he ducks his head and the scythe goes right over his head?
Yeah.
It's important.
And Samara Weaving, she's been like on everything.
Sigourney Weaver?
Samara Weaving.
Who's that?
She's been on every show on Netflix, like Babysitters.
Oh, okay. Is she going to be in Face the Music?
She's gonna be in Face the Music.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think because the first two movies are so weird, you could do it now. Those movies were never intended to be serious. I don't think they garnered any like critical acclaim.
No,
I think
these
they
were
were just
movies that were
fun.
appealing to like the pop culture, the young audience at the time. That's what Hollywood thought young kids.
It didn't have any sort of like, lofty goals or anything like that. It wasn't trying to redefine cinema. It was just some weird, whacked out story played across two movies, and the second one was even weirder than the first one. I mean, the first one, come on, they go and get Abraham Lincoln, Socrates, Napoleon, Genghis Khan
for his
Joan of
high
Arc.
school exam,
Yeah,
like history
and,
exam.
Yeah,
like,
and they
that's the
rope them
whole-
in, and and then they get them to do their history.
I mean, we don't want to dog on it.
dissertation. No,
Like,
no.
yeah.
What I'm saying is, it's weird, but I liked it. Like as a kid, I liked it. I remember watching the second movie when the LA riots hit. So
Yeah,
it was
I don't know.
92.
That didn't
April-
even
well,
wasn't even on my radar. I wasn't
Yeah.
watching TV. I guess I didn't watch the news or whatever back then.
Oh,
I
okay,
just
so
didn't
I was
know.
the reason why is because I was in New York, right? So April 26, 1992, there were riots on the streets. Tell me, where were you? That Sublime. April 26, 1992.
I like
there
one or
was
two
a
Sublime
riot on the
songs.
streets. Tell me, where were you?
I've never
You were
dove-
sitting home watching your TV while I was
There we go.
participating in some anarchy. You don't remember that song?
Didn't that guy die?
Yeah, of heroin.
Like back then.
Random
Like
tangent.
late 90s or mid 90s, before they got big, actually. Right
Yeah,
before
because
they
I
hit
remember
big,
being
yeah.
like, "Wait, the band still exists, even though the lead singer is dead." And
Yeah,
that
they got a
were
new guy
playing-
now. They got a new lead singer now.
I didn't even know
Okay.
you could do that. I thought if like somebody died,
had
like
to
the lead
change-
singer, like they would just disband.
Queen's got Adam Lambert right now.
I know, but as a kid, I was like,
Okay,
what? The band
But
still
so I
exists?
was watching
That's
Bill
crazy.
and Ted's Bogus Journey when the riots hit in L.A. after the Rodney King. Oh, not the Rodney King. It was
This is.
Oh, those.
Okay,
are the
I'm trying to tie
actresses?
this into Bill and Ted so we can get back to it.
I am in Bill and
Okay,
Ted.
okay.
You guys are random.
I'm okay. So I was watching it Okay,
Yeah.
when the riots hit, right? Or I had it, I rented it, and I was gonna watch it, and then the riots hit, and then I was living in the city at the time
In
And
LA?
No, I was living in New York,
Oh,
and they
New
were
York.
afraid that like that riot was gonna spark across the U.S. and it was gonna hit another major. They thought it was gonna happen in New York, like people were gonna go nuts, and rioting was gonna happen.
Nah.
New York had a history of rioting,
But
and
retrospectively, like only the people who lived in LA knew the LA cops were, you know.
No, I mean there
worst.
was tensions rising across the U.S. There were other ones that broke out. I want to say Chicago or things in Ohio. Like there
That
were
makes
places
sense.
that were things
I could
were
see
happening.
Chicago
yeah.
and LA and
Yeah, it was when the Rodney King, like the
Yeah.
cops got exonerated or whatever the fuck.
you're
let
free to
off.
go.
Yeah, you're free to go. You're white.
You didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly. Okay, but anyway, so I remember watching that amidst that because they sent me and a bunch of my friends or whatever. We went out to Jersey and stayed at a friend's house out there because they just wanted us out of the city for a few days. So I remember taking that and Naked Gun 2.5 out there with me and watch those two movies. So like that's my memory of Bill and Ted, like Bogus Journey, and remember loving it. And I just
I don't
remember the
remember where it
context
was.
of watching it, and it sort of was like it was kind of like a high stress moment, but like these great,
Were
funny,
you stressed
fun
out?
movie. I mean, no, I wasn't stressed out, but it was this thing like things might go really bad here, and my parents were still in the city, working and living there. They sent me out with a group of friends to stay at another friend's house in Jersey. They were like, get out of the city. So I'm, going, this is weird, but I treated it as an adventure. But then I had these two really non-serious movies to kind of like alleviate any sort of potential stress. To
watch over and
Yeah,
over.
I mean, Naked Gun 2.5 is ridiculous, and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is ridiculous.
That's with Priscilla Presley?
Yeah. Priscilla Presley. Well, she's in the first.
Is this like a hugging moment right now?
And what I'm saying is, it was just like that's my that's like a context for that second
Yeah.
movie for me.
I think I saw it in theaters. I think I saw it in theaters when this came out.
Do you
feel like I have this, remember.
want a hug right
What is your deal, man? I'm done with it. I'm off it. Why don't we get back to
Trying to figure
why you gotta be a
out.
piece of shit?
You know what's funny
I'm
that
not
you say that?
trying-
So
Why
I,
are you
I-
victim
I'm
shaming?
trying to be
Victim
supportive.
blaming?
I don't.
victim blaming. I rewatched Temple of Doom last night.
No,
And
guys, why?
it's funny. Like I
Help
was
me.
watching that movie, and
all those
then
listeners, help me.
it hit me like I like remembered being a kid watching that the first time and just being like fucking blown away by that movie.
Yeah.
Like that, like more so than Raiders of the Lost Ark. It wasn't until I was older that I appreciated Raiders of the Lost Ark more
Yeah.
than Temple of Doom.
It is
But like
yeah.
when I was a kid, Temple of Doom was like the greatest movie.
You're a sequel
I'd
guy.
ever seen.
You're a second movie guy.
I don't know if that was it. Like I was just like more like the insanity of it. Like they're on a plane and then they're in a boat and they're falling through the sky and they land on a mountain in the snow and then they go off a cliff and land in a river and they're in India.
Yeah.
Like nothing about that makes sense. But I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like I've never seen it. But yeah, it was just that interesting thing of like I was just like the first few minutes. And then it wasn't until years later I realized that fucking Dan Aykroyd is in that movie and it said Club Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And I never noticed that before as a kid. I
And
never
it's a
picked up
prequel
on
to
any
Raiders
that.
of the Lost Ark.
Is that true?
Yeah, no, the movie is 19. I think I want to say it's. I forget exactly the year, but it says the,
Oh, it says in the
year
beginning?
in the beginning, right in the Obi-Wan club scene.
Yeah, and the way it starts is insane.
It
It's
is.
just like the whole sing thing with like
Yeah.
the 150
yeah,
dancing,
and then
whatever.
the little
It's
kid
like,
driving the taxi with the wooden blocks. Like
Yeah.
the whole thing's weird,
Data.
but
It's Data.
it's a prequel to Raiders of
Data.
the Lost Ark. Yeah, it's
Data from the Goonies.
Data from the Goonies. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was
Keith
in
Kwan.
middle
Say,
school.
Kwan.
Holy moly, Takato.
Yeah, I remember when I was sitting in middle school.
I don't know if it's okay. He
I
does,
was
but like
watching
I'm
my
just
first
He's
sex
he's
ed
not even.
video.
He
You
doesn't,
call him Dr. Jones, lady.
and it
you
changed
call
my
him
life.
Dr. John Thaw. He doesn't even have an accent in real life. It's all
Yeah,
that was
did
all
you guys
bullshit
hear what I
then. He
said?
was like 100% American.
Because
I
you're
think
so
he has a
random
little bit of
tangent.
one back then.
I don't know.
Here,
They're into it, guys. They really are.
What's
I-
that?
I'm
We are
so-
off
So
topic.
sorry.
No, you start talking about
you guys-
where
you
you,
guys
were and how young
just-
you were
But I- but
and
it was
all
Bill
this.
and
And it
Ted.
made me think
No,
of what I was
no.
watching
This is
last
what
night.
happened.
But it was Bill and Ted related.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, but
no,
they
you,
came out
you-
at- they
no,
came out the same
Neil,
year.
don't. No, you
no,
click
they
into
didn't. No,
him.
they didn't.
You click
Years
into him.
later.
If he goes into like
6-year
a
difference.
spotlight subject, you click into that and you take it to another spotlight,
We
and
should
then it
talk
just
about-
becomes this off track. I can fucking right now talk about like I just said. I was like, I remember in
gonna
fucking
do
middle
it now.
school
There we go.
that
There
I
we
watched
go.
my first sex
Not even
ed
gonna-
video. It
Oh.
changed my life.
Oh, they didn't show us any videos of sex ed.
Well,
in
it sucks for you,
high
but it
school
changed
or
my
middle
life.
school. They just talked about shit.
It was just
I'm
random
like, I want to
subject.
see it.
I had a Meaning of Life situation. You ever see Meaning of Life? Do you remember the sex ed class?
No.
John Cleese
You
is up
see?
there and brings his wife
called
in and bangs
Spotlight
her in front
Subject.
of her. No.
It clicks.
Monty
No,
Python.
what do you mean no?
Monty-
No, we're going off again. What do you mean no?
Monty Python's Meaning of Life. For the sex ed class,
Yeah,
John
yeah.
Cleese brings in his wife and bangs her up in front of the class. He's like, what you want to do is insert your clitoris, like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Insert your penis in the entrance of the vagina, like.
I need to watch this
so.
movie.
There's a lot of nudity in that movie.
Is there? I
There's
feel
a
like-
scene where guys
Wait,
getting chased by
there's meaning-
Here we
150
go.
women.
Spotlight.
Topless
I was
women.
thinking of Life of Brian, which is a
Oh, very
completely
different.
different
That's
movie.
actually my favorite Monty
That's the
Python
one,
movie,
like the second Jesus. Or
It's the
something.
parallel Jesus story. The guy who right up the block in another barn was born, and his life parallels Jesus, but he's a piece of shit, and he's not.
Hey everyone, welcome to
Nobody
Get to
likes
the
him.
podcast. Let's see if you can find all
For
our
some reason,
Easter
I
egg
confuse those
subjects.
two. One's Mel Brooks and one's.
Are you kidding
No,
me?
they're all Monty Python.
Are you guys really gonna keep going with this?
The history of the world.
History of the World Part
Keep
1
going.
is Mel
Keep
Brooks.
going.
Sorry.
Keep going.
Dude, join in.
No. I'm trying to stay on subject.
This
you
is
guys
real
are
life.
literally throwing in a library
Okay.
of fucking films.
This
All
is
right.
real life.
Are you kidding me? This
Is,
not
is George
real.
Carlin going to be in this third movie? Because if he's not, I'm not watching it.
Then you're not gonna watch it. Oh
Fucking
man.
thank you.
I
so
miss George Carlin.
I do,
fucking
too.
miss
George
George
Carlin
Carlin, man. That
was-
guy should have lived forever.
Dude, George Carlin. I mean, fucking Reading Rainbow. Like, not Reading. Yeah, it was Reading Rainbow, right? The little conductor.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was the little conductor.
You know what?
It was the Reading Rainbow, right? Or that was the show. Yeah, he was the little conductor that would like show up and like pop in and
we
like
go.
disappear or whatever. No, this is George
This is
Carlin.
how it starts.
This is George Carlin. He was a little, but I'm saying George Carlin was great. I loved all his stand up.
Yeah.
Jamming in New York. I had CDs of his.
He was in, how many?
Dogma,
Kevin Smith's movies? Yeah, Dogma.
Yeah, he was.
Not Clerks.
No, he wasn't in it. No, I think Dogma was his first one. And,
Yeah.
The Jiggly.
Geely. He plays the dad. He played Ben Affleck's dad. Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know if I've ever shit on a movie. It wasn't a bad movie at
No,
all,
people
actually.
just shit on it. It was just that was the beginning.
It's like J-Lo and Ben Affleck are in it for like 10 seconds.
Spotlight subject.
Okay, but
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? See what happens?
George Carlin.
He clicks. He clicks. I told you.
I brought it back.
I'm
George
getting back.
Carlin.
I'm getting back.
George
But
Carlin.
George Carlin was great, and he played.
He was in both, right?
He was in
So-
both.
Yeah.
He played the guy who brought the telephone booth and introduced them to time travel.
Yeah.
His name
He's
was.
from the future.
His name was.
It's like Max or something.
Milo.
or-
Something
What
like
was his
that.
goddamn name?
Hold on.
It was a name. Like we know the name. It was like a
Rufus.
Rufus.
Yeah. This is great because it's actually giving me a different marketing strategy. Get to the movie, kind of get to the point, get back into the subject.
No, didn't I say that last
This
week?
is what I'm saying.
I
It's
thought
like
about
we go
that when
so
we were doing
random
this.
and everywhere. Everybody's saying, get to the movie.
No,
But that's-
Everybody, not us. They are saying, what a fucking twist we have in our podcast.
That's the
this
great
is a
thing.
fucking
Didn't
twist.
I say
We
that
just-
last week? I said like that was like the point of our
Did you?
podcast. Yeah,
I don't remember.
If not, I literally was thinking. I was like, oh, that's the point. Get to the movies.
No, but
we
see,
never
you
get
have-
to the point. Get to the movies. Let's get to the movies.
But that's
Yeah.
like movies, man.
Yes, but that's not
That wasn't
the
as deep
podcast.
as you thought it was.
Yeah, it wasn't so. Yeah,
That meant
That
next to
was
nothing.
such a stretch.
That meant
he
next
just
to nothing.
looked at me.
No, that's
he
like-
just looked at
okay.
me like he just did a statement that's gonna change the world.
Yeah.
and it really
That's the movies.
was not.
That's our
at
next
all.
podcast series.
movies,
That's
if
our
you
movies.
think about it, like movies, like shouldn't work. Like they're crazy. It's like these. You take all the same actors, you have them play completely different people in every movie and different stories, and it's just a 2-hour snippet of an entire. It could be like hundreds of years. It could be 24 hours. It could be an hour. It could be all this stuff, and it somehow works.
Yeah.
and
This
they're
is
all
what I'm gonna
interconnected.
do.
It's amazing.
Love it.
You go see a movie, and you don't immediately. Oh, like. Wow,
We're gonna.
I
We're
was
gonna.
about to bring
This
up-
is what
I was
we're
about
gonna
to bring
do.
up
Yeah,
Aladdin,
no. Yeah,
but
yeah, you were. This is
Will
what we're gonna
Smith,
do.
Aladdin.
We're gonna do an episode. I'm gonna call it Wormhole because I want to see how far you guys can take from one film and just wormhole it as far as possible.
And let
from
us
that
go.
I'll tell you though,
And
I'm
and
gonna
let you guys go.
I'm gonna go
It's-
watch this
No.
movie. What were we talking about? Bill and Ted 3.
Holy.
I'm gonna go watch this movie, and then I'm gonna be watching it and think of like John Wick. I'm gonna think of fucking Neo. I'm gonna think of all these characters that Keanu Reeves played in my mind, and that's how movies are. That's
Yeah.
why all this other shit comes up while we talk about.
Can
one
you name
subject.
one other movie with Alex Winter?
Fuck, I know he was in.
Guy played Bill?
Huh?
The guy played Bill. That's what it was.
Was he in Outsiders?
Nope.
Or was he like not born
He was
yet?
in Lost Boys. No, he was. He was in Lost Boys.
Oh, I still haven't seen that movie.
Oh,
You guys keep telling me to
That's
see
so
that.
crazy to me. He was one of the vampires in Lost Boys.
I haven't seen Lost Boys or Commando.
Okay,
he was in
which means
Freaked.
that- Thank you. That's what I was about to say. Have you ever seen Freaked?
No.
Dude, This is
this a good movie?
Okay, remember when I showed you Toxic
He's also
Avenger?
directed. He directed it, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think he directed.
I think
that
he
one.
did. It's right here on.
Did he direct
IMDb.
it? I don't think.
I'm going into.
Go
I'm
into
going
it.
in-
I don't
I'm
think
going
he
into
directed
it.
that. Randy Quaid is in it.
Okay.
Dude, remember when I
He
showed?
he was co-director.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah, he directed with
yeah.
Tom Stern.
You know, I think I'd seen
Is that
a few
Mr. T?
years ago.
That is Mr. T.
Dude, have you? Okay.
Yeah,
he plays
I watched
a bearded
that
lady,
crazy movie,
Toxic
Toxic Avenger, which
Okay,
is pure insanity.
Remember when I showed you that and you were like, "This is like the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life."
Yeah.
If you want to see,
I mean, it's fucking horrific, but it's also
it's
like
insane.
the fact that was even made. I'm like, this would never come out today.
It's
Or if it
insane.
did, it would be like a snuff film.
yeah,
because that's what it is.
that movie's fucking nuts. But
Yeah.
Freaked is a different animal. Freaked is such a weird fucking movie.
Yeah.
And it's basically about these people who get caught and operated on by a carnival a guy who runs like a freak
Oh,
show.
like Freak Show.
Which is Randy Quaid. It's nothing like Freaks or Freak Show or anything. It's Randy Quaid, and he basically kidnaps these people and turns them into. But it's a comedy though.
Yeah.
It's so
Brooke Shields.
fucking weird, dude. I've seen this movie a million times.
A million times.
I've seen this movie 10 times.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Dude, the weirdest fucking movie you ever seen is called Freaked. So
gonna
that's
have to
Alex
check
Winter
that.
though. That's
Yeah.
He's the main guy in it.
He directed.
You've turned me
maybe
into
I
a
have.
freak.
This does look familiar.
Dude,
Maybe
yeah.
I have seen
I
it.
hate macaroons. Oh my god, that movie is
Giant
crazy.
eyeball people.
Dude, it's the fucking movie's crazy. Anyways,
I kind of want to see it now.
yeah, we should watch it. I haven't watched it in good like 15 years.
He's also in that movie.
That's Alex Winter.
They
That's-
don't make movies like this
don't.
anymore. I feel
Yeah.
like the closest would be like Pan's Labyrinth.
You have to
or
go
something.
really like obscure, like two people have seen it kind of thing. Like it got made and just shelved somewhere.
They're like Siamese twins.
Dude, there's so much going on in
Oh
this
my
movie.
God.
It's so crazy. There's a big lizard guy who like literally just sits there, big fat toad looking guy,
Yeah.
and just licks air and snatches things up. He snatches an airplane at one point out of the sky with his tongue like a frog.
I like how they have the VHS.
Yeah,
like,
I had
cover
that.
on.
I owned that.
Wow.
I own that VHS. That's Alex Winter in the front though. That's Bill from Bill and Ted's.
Yeah,
Excellent
yeah,
Adventure. Yeah. I mean, he's
The
got black
funny-
hair.
The funniest film in years, according to the creator of Ren and Stimpy.
That's crazy.
That's high praise. That's high praise.
Where did they get these
so
quotes?
great.
Where did they get these fucking
Oh
quotes?
my
As a
God.
kid, I just read the quote. I never cared who said it, and I guess now I care a little bit more who said
I feel like I
it.
would have been like, oh wow, like that's great. Like I wouldn't have seen that as like comedic. I would have been
The
like,
creator of Ren and Stimpy.
that's probably what got me to watch it. No, they were putting it. I think I originally caught that on Comedy Central. I was obsessed with Comedy Central in the late '90s. I'd watch
See,
it.
I didn't have cable until I was like
Okay,
way
I watched
older.
it. I watched it like all the time. Comedy Central was always on, and they were showing that movie a lot on Comedy
Yeah.
Central late '90s.
93 that came out.
Alex Winter is Bill and Ted's Face of Music. So like we weren't so off topic, but we should do an episode called Stream of Consciousness where we just go.
That's every episode.
No, but like we
You're
work,
welcome.
we work to get ourselves back on track, whereas we should
You
not.
guys
We should do one episode.
I
where
work to get you off track.
You're
You sure?
No, you're
That's
the worst.
why it's
I
called
bring
the
it back
wormhole.
sometimes. I bring
You
it
That's
are the
why it's
worst
gonna be
person I
called
know.
The
Like-
wormhole. And we're gonna do like this is gonna be like constant one. See, I'm gonna name a film,
Yeah.
and we're gonna talk about it and see how far you guys can take it off course.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
We should do that.
I come up with great ideas.
Yeah.
That's
true.
That's the thing. Teamwork, guys. Let's
Yeah.
do this. Oh, so actually, in Bill and Ted 2, they actually started production early. It shows here that it was supposed to start June 17th, and they started at March 26th.
Really? No.
Yeah.
Pre-production. I don't think they started.
Pre-production.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm talking about this
Oh
year.
no.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm
principal
saying.
photography started on June 18th. They actually started shooting the film, I believe, on June 18th.
It said
Is
it was
that right?
supposed to start June 17th,
Okay.
but it got updated and started March 26th, 2019.
Is anybody else
No,
here?
that's pre-production though. That's pre-production.
That's what I'm
is not
saying.
yeah, but I'm talking about what about actually filming, shooting the film, which is production. It's not pre-production anymore. They started. Filming. Initial production and filming started on June 17, 2019. The bulk of the filming is
Okay,
expected to take
gotcha.
place in
I
New
see what you're
Orleans
saying.
during July. Yeah, so they're right now in July. They are filming in New Orleans currently.
Yeah.
So right now, as we're talking on this podcast, fucking Keanu Reeves.
We should go to New Orleans. and get a
Probably
movie.
not right
should.
now.
Be extra.
Probably not right now.
Is anybody else here scared for Keanu Reeves?
Why?
Because he's like, is it me or is he like
He's
blowing
an
up?
internet sensation right
Yeah,
now.
he's
They want him
right
to do
now.
everything.
He's
Yeah.
becoming like this crazy internet meme thing where I'm like, he's
I don't-
always been popular,
I
but
don't
it's
love
like
it.
reaching a fever pitch to the point where I'm like just waiting for some person to come out from his past and be like, drop some shit.
I'm
Oh,
not
I don't
concerned.
think that's
And
going to
then-
happen. I don't think that's going to
gonna
happen.
I hope it doesn't.
everybody-
I think people are
every-
going to get Keanu Reeves
Yeah.
fatigue. Because
Everybody-
that's what this does.
Yeah.
And I'm not into it. I'm like, guys, let it
I'm
go.
really
Everybody
starting to
that
get
has
let it
worked
go.
with him
Anti-fandom.
has said how he's such a nice guy.
I know, but
they were talking about how
when they
Keanu
repeat
Reeves,
it every day in the
Well,
media,
they might
I'm
get
like, guys,
fatigued.
stop.
No,
Stop.
they might get fatigued. But here's the thing: like every film that he has done, you hear someone saying a story of how he did something for them.
Yeah.
Like Matrix,
Yeah,
one of
he's-
the most popular films. They talked about how he was one of the only cast members to fucking pick up a hammer to help build the set. That's crazy. That's crazy. And he talked about another guy talked about how he was like he was having money issues and stuff, and how
he like
raised,
paid a
no he raised a certain amount. I think it was like $25,000 or $10,000.
No, I'm not saying that the stories aren't true and that he's not a cool guy and he's
Yeah.
not like a
But
guy who's interested in
what I'm
helping
saying is
people,
the
especially
stories
on the film
themselves
set, but
are different. They're more good pieces.
I just
So
feel like it's
that
gonna
kind
blow up
of-
in his face.
I don't
Like,
think
every
it's
time
gonna-
I've
I
seen
don't
this
think so.
happen before, we're like,
But I don't
like
think
he's
Keanu
being
Reeves
set up
himself. I don't think
for
it
to
matters.
blow up in his face.
But I don't
Like,
think it
that's a-
matters to him. But that's
Oh,
the
I
thing.
don't think he cares.
I get what you're saying.
I think he's aware of it too. Like when I see him in interviews, I can tell that he's like apprehensive about all this like increase in attention. Because
Yeah.
I feel like he died. There was years where like he did like The Watcher and these like series of kind of like low budget movies
Yeah.
that weren't big successes at all. And now he's kind of like back.
John Wick kind of did that for him.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Which John Wick was amazing. It should have.
Yeah,
but,
and all three. I haven't seen the third one yet, but it looks amazing.
Keep forgetting that
I know.
it's like Morpheus and Neo. I keep forgetting
yeah.
that
But
Morpheus is in
he's
it.
Cool Breeze Reeves,
Will
right?
Smith.
Yeah. Yeah. He's Cool Breeze
Lawrence
Reeves.
Fishburne.
He's like Will Smith.
Yeah.
I don't think people are going to get tired of it.
Here's the thing. I think because Will Smith, there's this thing
yeah,
there's
I
this
guess not.
fandom obsession thing that occurs in current. The internet has made it it's like a multi-billion-dollar a year industry with all these comic cons, these various cons and things, and going and getting pictures with people and doing that. It's just and even cosplay things. There's fine, but there is a point when it gets to where you're all the internet media and everything want to latch onto it, and it's constant stories and it's constant exposure. Is such thing as fatigue. Right?
There is, yeah.
So it will die out at some point where it's not so obsessive. Will Smith doesn't currently exist in that bubble in that way, the way they're doing it currently, where everybody's
he
like,
got onto Instagram and Facebook.
Well, Will
and
Smith's
his, like,
kind of always been loved.
Jada and,
Yeah.
and his kids are all now. They have a show and they're doing all that
but
stuff. So
it's
like-
riding this line of where people aren't like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's
Being like, he's the
consistent
greatest
enough
person in the
where,
world,
like,
and we love him,
yeah,
and let's
it's
do
not a
every
fever
not
pitch.
every meme.
Yeah.
There's,
See, that's
there's
the
no Will
thing.
Smith memes really right now that are like upset. People are obsessed with Keanu Reeves is a meme right now. He's a walking.
well, he's not doing
meme.
the social media thing.
He's not doing it, but I'm
I
saying
feel like Will
people are
Smith
making
does
him
it, and everybody just feel like he's like
yeah.
like a normal guy,
Yeah,
even though he's not.
They're
a
putting him
normal
up
guy.
on a pedestal, and
don't
it's
like
a
it.
hard pedestal.
But see, that's the
hard.
thing. See,
hard.
if you take Will Smith and you take Keanu Reeves, the difference there's always fatigue. That always happens at a certain point.
Yeah.
But them two, they are different because Will Smith, like his Instagram, what he does is to feed people. It's not to get attention, but he does it to feed people. That's the main purpose of his Instagram. He's always
Feed the fandom.
no, well, he's always talking about life, how you should treat people. He's always talking about how this, what he thinks of this. He's always explaining things. It's to teach. It's not to absorb and become popular. It's to always feed people.
Yeah.
Recently when he was on Ellen talking about some of his thing, off camera, he was singing with the crowd.
Yeah.
Off camera.
Yeah.
He was feeding the crowd off camera. He didn't care about being on screen. He just wanted to have fun with the audience and give them something.
Yeah, no,
like-
there-
I
there's
like-
a lot of.
But that's the
There's
thing
a lot
with
of people
Keanu
that are like
Reeves.
they're more interested in interacting with the people in front of them.
But that's what
than
I'm saying with
the
Keanu
potential
Reeves.
people that
He's the same thing. He doesn't care for the attention. He's not trying to build the attention. He's just doing his thing, and that's why I think that he's going to last longer than a lot of other people, because sometimes you'll get sparks on certain actors, certain films, certain whatever. But this is why he's going to last.
It
longer,
made me think
because
of
he doesn't care.
Yeah, this whole thing makes me think of like Christian Bale when he was doing the Dark Knight films and like, huh? Oh, sorry.
I said yeah.
Threw him up. I'm trying not to let you go off subject. I was
Well,
like,
no, like
didn't.
it just that's why like I was thinking of like an example. Like Christian Bale was like, you know, doing those movies, and then he was kind of like becoming this kind of like underground popular like fan thing. Oh, he's Batman and blah blah blah, and Christopher Nolan, these movies are amazing, blah blah blah. And then he like kicked his mom down the flight of stairs or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't quite that, but yeah.
Yeah, well, and then that video or the audio leak where
Terminator
he like went
Salvation.
crazy on the So I'm like, I just don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Because if that shit happened and like people are like, whatever, Keanu Reeves was in Matrix in 20 years ago, like, and that was their connection, like nobody wouldn't dismiss his like accomplishments.
Right.
But now, like the internet will just fucking turn on
The
him.
thing I
man.
like about Keanu
the
Reeves-
fans will turn and like try to kill you.
I know. No, it's
Like,
true. The
that's-
thing I like about Keanu Reeves, I do like his viewpoint and the things he talks about, and I like his kind of more spiritual, outlook. Like when Stephen Colbert asked him, it was such a simple answer, but I liked it when he's like, what he said. What do you think happens when we die? And he goes,
the people that love you will miss you.
I know that the ones who love us will miss us. And it's like, you just go, oh, that's just random. But then you think about it, I'm like, this is a good answer. And he answered it pretty quickly. And he was just sort of like, that's all I know. Like, that's what I know. And that's a very simplistic, basic, but it's a good viewpoint on something. He's like,
And that's
that's
the
what I
whole
know.
thing.
And that's all
Yeah.
I know. And it's a humble kind of an answer in a way.
And this is why
Yeah.
he will last. Like I said, he doesn't care about
Yeah.
like he doesn't care about the attention that he gets.
Yeah.
He just cares about living life and just being a good person. And that's why his point where people are going to get overwhelmed by him is going to be further down the way than a lot of other people. And the same thing with Will Smith. That's why I combined that topic, But it's like. Then you have like somebody like Jim Carrey when
I guess
he did the whole his documentary. People just then started pulling stuff out like he's crazy and pulling out stuff from when he did the film
Jim and Andy. Yeah,
Tim and Andy, and they started saying that he's doing all. It just went off,
Were we
and
talking
then
about a
everything
different
got shut
documentary?
down.
No, we're talking about Jim and Andy one where he.
Oh, the one behind the scenes
Yeah,
on
exactly.
Beyond Jim
But
and Andy.
now
or
you
whatever.
notice you're not hearing a lot about Jim Carrey is because everything basically got shut down.
Well, he has that beard down to
Because
his
he doesn't have-
toes, and it was
Yeah,
freaking everybody out. He
Yeah,
went
he
full
doesn't have
Joaquin
anymore.
Phoenix on everybody.
See, this is what I'm
I
saying.
love it.
Yeah, so,
I like Jim Carrey a lot, actually.
Oh, I do too.
Well,
yeah.
but that type of conversation, it's very difficult to happen for Keanu Reeves
yeah.
because he's never been stuck on those negative.
I mean, in
concepts
a
of
way,
person.
it's good because we've had the last year and a half about a lot of men in Hollywood have been like negatively portrayed in the media and their personal lives and things like that with
Yeah.
all these movements and stuff. And you have this Keanu Reeves guy popping up out of there, and he's like, he's never done anything wrong in his
Right.
entire life. That's what fucking scares
Yeah.
me. It's like that everyone else, all these other guys are like, Matt Damon got attacked, whatever was
Yeah.
getting attacked on all this for like crazy comments.
right.
I'm just waiting for Keanu Reeves to like.
his
them to
view,
turn on him.
based off the things he's talked about. I mean, it doesn't sound like he's got a
Or like the Liam
combative
Neeson,
viewpoint. Yeah.
like Liam Neeson with
Oh,
that
yeah,
interview
yeah.
from like 100 years ago, where he was,
It was,
like,
it was a new interview, but he referred to something that happened way back in the day.
No, they
when he was
asked
a
him
kid.
about it. Somebody had found the interview that he had done with this.
Yeah, that's what
this
he said.
woman,
The interview
and
was
then
new.
They asked him about it.
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
was a
that's
new
what he said.
interview with him when he was promoting one of his recent films, and he was talking about his character in the film and the story of that film and how he had his own experience of where that kind of anger can come from.
Yeah.
And he talked about a story in his youth when he was really young.
I thought that was the interview was a long.
The
time
interview
ago.
was new. No. That story was a new story. That
It was
was
getting weird, man.
yeah.
And I'm like, I understand.
If
Like,
you just-
I understand the
We're
context of
losing
what he
context.
said.
We're losing context, though. That's the problem. Like,
That's true.
like there's a context to things, and it's almost we're getting stupider as a society if we can't recognize
No, it's
context.
like when
and-
you
and
wake
make
up
sure
in the
that's
morning,
important.
it's who do I hate today? That's the mentality.
It's the Neil.
Like,
I'm
who
gonna call
can I
it.
hate
It's the
on?
Neil effect headline.
There you go.
The Neil effect?
The lack of context.
No, there's context.
Steven
You guys are following this, right?
Steven
Unfortunately,
Spielberg
yes.
dies
Uh-oh.
laughing.
Steven Spielberg's never
didn't-
going to die. Don't ever say that.
This is what I'm saying. He forgot to read laughing.
Yes.
context.
He's not a reader. You're putting too much responsibility on him to expect him to read.
Yeah, I just like looking at all the symbols on my phone. All those weird hieroglyphs.
Oh, there's quotes around that. I'm gonna read it.
Yeah, but you know how you get scammed? Like you see an awesome article, you're like a headline, and you're like, oh man, it grabs your attention. You click on it, it's like, oh, pay $1.99 a day to access Washington Post.
Oh,
And you're like,
Wall
what the
Street.
fuck?
It's Wall Street Journal that does that mainly. Yeah,
There's
I
a couple
that.
of New York Times does it,
Yeah, I don't
and
like
I'm
it.
like, why did I even click on this?
I know. I
Like,
want everything free.
that's how it happens, though. I just read the headlines
we're so
because then it's
shitty.
like, I'm not going to pay for information.
I paid $800 for this phone. I'm not going to also pay for the content on it.
So
That's true.
let's finalize this Bill and Ted moment. Great music we had.
So I feel like society needs to face the music, and that's what this is about.
Great.
No, it's
That's
a movie.
actually pretty good.
It's not
This
bad,
is
right?
good timing
It's
because
it's a movie
Trump
about
is meeting
union.
with Kim Jong, and then
And
Nukes
Putin.
blowing everybody up, and
yeah,
Putin
and he's
is
reporting
running.
to Putin, and so
Putin is running
Here's the
Trump,
thing.
who's
This is
meeting
a-
Kim Jong.
I think this is
And
one
then
of
Bill and
those
Ted
films
are
that
going to
you-
play the song that's going to like make everybody peaceful.
yeah.
That-
and then the
I think
threesome
that's
tape with
what
the three
this
of them's
film
gonna
is
come out,
about
and
right
that's
there.
gonna-
It-
The real
it's just a
union.
fun
Yeah.
film, and you shouldn't put anything else to it.
Yes, don't hold it to a standard of like cinematic excellence.
What's the meaning?
Who
What's
is
the
directing?
purpose? The purpose of this fucking film is to have fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Just they're
it.
doing something. They're doing a project that they loved. Fans wanted it. They're contributing their time to do it again, and because they want people to enjoy that moment again. I think it's
Right.
awesome. I think it's gonna be cool and a fun film to watch.
Yep.
But I don't think it's gonna be anything that people are gonna say, "Oh, it just had this deep meaning to it" and
Right.
stuff. Just leave it at watch it to entertain yourself. That's it.
The
Do
only,
not watch it.
My only thing is like back in that time period, like I guess it was the 90s. Is that when this is?
What, the
Bill
Bogus
and
Journey
Ted-
was 91. The
1991.
first one I think was 89.
So like 80s, 90s, there was this whole time period where Hollywood was like exporting Californication or whatever, like this California attitude.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a
and
period
slang
piece,
and
yeah.
it's like ooh, like the
Yeah.
the stoner
The surfer thing.
Yeah, the surfer thing. And that
Thanks
is,
to Gus
that's
Spicoli.
like dead. It's dead.
yeah,
There's been no movies in the last 20 years. Maybe there's been
90210
obscure.
kind of ran it into the ground. You had Spicoli
Yeah, it
from
was
Fast
like-
Times at Richmond High.
The
I'm
rest
pretty
of
sure
the
they know
country is
that.
like, wait, we're like the 95%, and they're like
Yeah.
the 5%. Why are we letting them make
Right.
everyone think that we're all surfers? We're not.
I'm
right.
pretty sure they're not going to come in with the.
So
That's the thing that
The
concerns
lines that
me
I'm like-
is if Bill and Ted show up and they're just like that surfer thing still, and
I
they're
want
like
to
in
see
their
them in
40s
their
and
50s. I want to see them in their 50s and what they're like because they're in a dead end job. They're in a rut. I want to see what that's
working
gonna
at
look
Mickey
like.
D's.
But that's an interesting because if you do another one where they're just exactly like they were in the because the first two movies they're exactly the same. There's not a lot of depth
Well,
to
there's
them.
only like 2 years apart or something.
Yeah, they're 2 years apart, but they're the exact same characters. So that's what I'm saying because they were so close together, and it's just from that time period, and that was fine for what it was. They didn't have a lot of depth, but now it looks like they have the opportunity to go a little deeper, and we've evolved in filmmaking in the last 30
No,
years.
both of them have too. I mean,
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves is like I think a producer and working on his own films
Yeah.
like behind the scenes is like
He was
he knows what works and he knows what doesn't.
He was not
work.
famous when he did the first Excellent Adventure at
Yeah.
all. Like this was before Point Break, even. Like both of these movies.
Oh, he was
were
super
pre
young.
Point Break.
Yeah.
I think it
before
was like,
Speed.
what?
Before Johnny Mnemonic. It was before Matrix. It was before it's
Oh, yeah.
all before all that. So it's like he has come a long way.
Mnemonic. Why are you dropping that like it's some kind of movie we should remember?
It wasn't that bad.
You like Johnny
I
Mnemonic?
actually did.
I saw it in
I didn't
theaters.
like it.
I like the poster.
I thought it was going to be this awesome movie, and then I watched it.
So
and I was like,
the
I don't
guy
know what
who's
I was
directing
expecting.
Face the Music, Bill and Ted Face the Music, is Dean Parasot, who did Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, that
Yeah.
actually I like Galaxy Quest
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, and he did a few other ones we know too.
Yeah.
So
Like what?
I think it's
Red,
hard-
Red 2. He did Red 2.
The Red
yeah,
series,
The Red
both
series.
of
Yeah,
them?
he did the second one. He did the second one, which
Okay.
I liked.
I like
thought
those
the second
movies.
one was good one with
They're
Anthony
based on
Hopkins.
a graphic novel or
Yeah,
something.
So
he
you know
did
it's gonna be
fun
quirky,
with
it's
Dick
gonna
and
be
Jane.
fun.
I'm actually. Why didn't you say this in the beginning? I'm more excited for this movie now,
Yeah.
knowing who's directing
He did
it.
Fun with Dick and Jane with
was
Tia
good.
Leone. Yeah, I
Tia
like that.
Leone and Jim Carrey, yeah.
Yeah, he did Home Fries with Luke Wilson and
Okay.
Drew
I don't know
Barrymore.
if
She's
I'm-
pregnant. Remember, she's pregnant and
Drew
she
Barrymore?
worked- yeah, she was Drew Barrymore.
Vaguely remember this movie. I
She's
may-
pregnant
maybe-
and she worked at the drive-through.
Yeah.
Burger joint?
So yeah, ATF he did. So he did a few movies. Decent, really like a decent. He did Galaxy Quest, which you'll fucking love.
It is a good movie.
Yeah, strangely. Strangely
It should
good
not
movie.
have been good, but
No,
you know,
it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
it's
have
like
been.
the parody of You know, I guess
That's
that's the
why
only
it
way you
works.
could have pulled that
and that's
off
kind
is
of what
because it
Face
was
the
a
Music
parody.
can do. And it's a good time for Face the Music. I feel like if there's any time in history when when
We
Bill
got
and
Dumb and
Ted
Dumber
third
too.
one, yeah,
Dumb and Dumberer.
which we liked. No, Dumb and Dumber 2 TO. Dumb and Dumberer was the prequel that came out in the early 2000s.
Oh shit! Did I ever
Yeah.
see that?
When Harold met Lloyd. It wasn't even Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels.
Right, but I thought it was pretty decent. I feel like
It
I
was
remember
okay.
it being
It was
good.
okay. It was very, very. It wasn't.
Did you see that? The Dumb and Dumber prequel with the two younger guys.
It was like
Yeah,
how
I
they
did,
met.
a while back. Yeah,
it was a while. No,
I didn't watch
I
it.
just
liked
remember
Dumb
there
and
was
Dumber
like
2
chocolate,
TO.
and they went to
Yeah.
the bathroom and they got it all outside, and then like Bob Saget was in it,
Yeah.
and he like fucking thinks it's all shit, and he like loses his mind and starts screaming, "There's shit everywhere!" And I thought that was so funny at the time. That's it. That's all I remember from that movie.
Don't die, Nick. Yeah.
Okay?
I'm about to face the music.
Full circle.
So I'm excited about this film. I really am. I think it's,
Yeah, I
it's a
wanna
film
see
that
it.
need- I think it's really like Neil said. I think it's a peaceful film, and I mean that by it's a fun film to go watch and just
Yeah.
like get
Chill people out, man.
All your burdens, leave them outside the theater. Go
Yeah.
watch this film and just have fun.
Yeah, man.
Just retro.
Let's
you know.
get back to that point in movies. Let's
Yeah,
stop
bro.
trying to dissect everything and let's just watch something. Like let's be the ultimate spectator.
Go back to the '80s, and everybody should start doing blow. and-
Yeah, just snort as much cocaine as you possibly can. Fill your popcorn bucket with Coke, and just enjoy the fucking movie, man. PCP can't
Don't
go wrong
do drugs.
with PCP.
Don't do drugs. We're just kidding.
No, definitely do drugs.
Don't-
Do all the drugs that you can legally and illegally obtain.
Oh, that's Nick's PSA for the day.
Yes, the more you know.
I like how Diego's just like
He
shut
doesn't
down.
know what to say. He's like,
I really don't.
I don't know who to endorse.
I'm not.
You know,
endorsing
it's
your ass
funny.
right now.
I definitely, you know, like these '80s movies. I look back on like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and it portrays like a lifestyle that I think maybe some people were living.
Yeah.
But then when I think back, I'm like, man, the '80s there was like so much more crazy shit going on, and like the Hollywood movies kind of like mask a lot of the crazy stuff going on in the society, which they don't portray. And I feel like now in film, they're like way more
There's a
fixated
lot,
on
yeah.
showing you
Reality.
like a disaster happens. Like that, all those kids, the Filipino boys that got stuck in the cave or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they already sold the movie rights. There's 3 movies coming out based on that. You know, and I'm like, literally a disaster happens and Hollywood's making a movie about it.
Yeah, well, Hollywood's always
10
done
seconds
that.
later.
Yeah, 10 seconds. Yeah,
But not like I feel like it was
faster.
years later,
True.
back in the 80s and
A
90s.
lot- yeah,
like
Alive
maybe-
came out in the
I mean,
90s.
shit, JFK was like fucking 40 years after.
So
the
was
fact
Alive.
or-
Alive was like 20
Oh, yeah.
years after that happened, right? I'm like, you literally had people
Yeah.
crashing and eating their fellow dead
Yeah.
passengers, and we took us
They wanted
20
to
years
wait.
to make a movie about it. That would be in a movie immediately.
It's true, cannibalism.
Yeah.
Cannibalism sells, man.
It's no joke, man. It's legit.
Joke,
Well,
yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
Let's
me
see
too.
Would
what
you eat a
happens
human
with it.
being, Diego?
That depends.
I've always said,
Really?
Dude, if you're dying, someone is dead. Like it's we actually had a conversation at work, which was, if somebody was going to pay you $10 million,
Yeah.
would you shoot him in the leg? You shoot your friend in the leg?
oh, 100%.
I said,
Yeah.
yeah, I would.
I'd
Well,
shoot both of you in the head. I don't for $10 million.
Okay.
No, because then you go to jail. But I would shoot him in the leg. I'll pay for this hospital
You could
bill.
still,
give him
if you
$1
hit
million.
the wrong
I'll take
artery,
it.
like that person could bleed out and die within minutes.
Sure,
so
that-
just make sure
true.
you shoot them in the right location.
Yeah, I'll do research prior.
Wait.
But why is it
But-
like, all right, I feel like the question that there should be, pay me $10 million to get shot in
Yeah.
the leg.
Wait,
Like, that
so-
seems like more, because
No.
shooting someone in
But
the
back
leg isn't
on
that big of a
cannibalism,
deal.
which is a different question. You're saying you
I
would
would.
you would eat them for survival reasons,
some-
right?
yeah.
I'd eat them if it's on the menu. That's it for me.
Oh,
like,
okay.
If it's on the menu and it's for some reason it's
You just
legal,
want to try it.
That's exactly right. I'm
You
a
wanna
foodie.
try
I'm a foodie.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm
So
trying
what,
if it's
like
on the menu.
Caucasian, African,
Okay,
Asian?
why can't we make it a race thing? How
We
about,
don't know
I
if
would
this-
not
why
eat
Why do
an-
you want to make it a
meat
death
tastes
thing?
different.
I would not eat an African because that's racist, but I would absolutely eat the shit out of a fucking Caucasian.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
why
so-
is it racist?
Are you saying you like white meat?
Ah, fuck.
Wow.
He likes white
That's
meat.
more
Talk
racist than you
myself-
won't eat it.
Racist.
God,
Yeah.
just like a typical white guy, just talk myself right into racism. I walked into that.
Are you
one.
saying black meat's not good enough for you? What are you
Yeah,
saying?
what are you
then,
trying to
Nick?
say there?
Why do I gotta be the one white guy on the podcast?
Yeah, there you go.
Neil's got some white in him.
All right, before we go into
We all
another
got a little white
tangent,
in
we're
us.
just gonna close this one out.
All right.
Are you gonna watch it in the theaters?
Are you going to watch it in the theaters? Because we're more than
Possibly.
likely
He
going to
doesn't
watch
watch
it.
things that he wants to watch in the theater. So
Possibly not. But will I watch it and support it? Yes.
Okay.
I might. Because
You
it's
might.
a fun film.
It depends
I
on
will
the
give
timing
that-
of
it
everything,
depends
right?
on- yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm actually the same way. I do want to see it in theaters because I don't know if I saw those first two in theaters, and I kind of like the idea of like, oh, like if they came out with Beverly Hills Cop 4. Well, I saw the third one in theaters, but I like the idea of seeing something in the series in theaters. I like that.
I might go watch that film when it comes out just because to see if it fits in this generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for that purposes.
And seeing something in theaters is the best way to do it.
It's
Are you going to
because
see Coming to America 2 in theaters?
Oh, that's happening. That first movie?
Are you going to see in theaters?
Oh, really?
I don't know.
I don't care if it's trash. First Coming to America, I'm supporting it.
It's not even the theater experience. It's the fact that this movie, like the fact that they're making a sequel to either of these franchises, Coming to America or Bill and Ted,
Yeah.
like seeing in a theater is like that, that's how you can see it right now. Like if they release it in the theater and then on demand at the same time, then maybe I would just watch it on demand or something. But I know they're not going to do that. It's going to be in a theater for a couple months or whatever, month or two, and then it'll probably be on demand like 3 or 4 months later.
Yeah. I don't know.
I would want to see it as fat. Well, especially the Coming to America, I would want to see it as fast as possible.
It's Coming to America.
Just because it's like an
5 seconds
anomaly.
And James Earl Jones is supposed to come back, and you got
Dude,
Eddie
it could be a
Murphy.
disaster.
It might be trash.
It could be a fucking disaster.
I was
'cause
5
I haven't
seconds.
seen Eddie Murphy in anything.
I was 5 seconds
In, like,
going to
a
watch
long
Aladdin.
time.
So.
Yeah. Huh?
I was 5 seconds away from going to watch Aladdin. Then we just didn't. We got busy.
Yeah.
So
it's
I
really
don't know.
just like you
But
just
you
don't
know
make
what?
it to the theater.
Here's the thing, though. Here's
See
the
it
thing.
in the theater. It's a
Here's the
theater
thing.
movie.
This is
You
my
need to
thing
go
is
at
that
9 a.m.
There
on a
is
Saturday.
an overload of films coming out
know.
in every platform, so it is very difficult for me, not being a theater person. I'm not theater. I'm very
You're
theater
not-
specific.
Yeah.
What
I
I
get
watch
it.
in the theater.
You know, if you
That-
can
that-
make
but
time.
here's the thing. I prefer with my wife seeing something at home and the convenience of ourselves watching.
You and the
something
rest
together.
of America. That's like that is the thing.
So
I mean, you're right. That is becoming the more popular, and I understand the appeal. I think everybody does. But like certain movies, like if you can see it in the theater, I tell you the what we do is like see it at like 9:30 in the morning show.
You still have your
And
That's
it's
what
like
we do.
You have
We do
almost
Saturday
the whole
mornings when we
theater.
go.
It's great.
And you have your whole
That's what
day
we do.
ahead of you afterwards. Really.
It's like it's not expensive, and you can just go and like watch this movie. And I don't know, for some reason, watching it in the theater, it's like you have the huge screen. It's like pitch black. You're not distracted. Like if you're at home, maybe you have stuff
I
on
don't.
cooking. Maybe
you
that
can't
does-
pull your
it's
phone out 'cause you're gonna
raining.
distract
Maybe
somebody.
your phone rings or
That's not
whatever.
me, though.
You get
When I'm
pop-ups
watching
and
a film,
notifications.
When I'm watching a film, I'm disconnected from everything.
No, it's hard. That's harder
Not-
for
it's
me
not hard
because
for
I'll
me.
just pause the movie and then handle something.
That's
or
not hard for me.
Respond to a
It's
text
not
or
hard
call
for me.
someone
When
back
I'm,
or whatever.
But like my wife will tell you when I'm getting ready to watch a movie.
Your wife will
I'm
tell
in
us
all-
that you're not. It's
I'm
hard for
watching. Where were you going? with this?
No, I know
This is the
exactly what I was
content.
saying. I was just trying to like sneak it in there. He goes, that's not hard for me. My wife will tell you. That's what you said. That's what he. It was perfect. It was perfect.
This
Diego.
guy needs to get his mind out of the gutter. Am I right, Diego?
It was the sequence was perfect. I'm gonna take that out. I'm gonna cut that together, and you're gonna be like, "Oh shit, yeah, I said exactly those words." That's not hard for me.
I'm just letting
my
him
wife
have
will
his
tell you.
moment.
I win. End the podcast.
I win.
I win
When
all
did it
the
become a
games.
contest? All the games.
Dude, I don't like talking. I don't like doing anything when I'm watching the film. I literally focus on the film because I watch it in multiple ways. I'll watch like the cinematography. I'm watching the story. I am so like I'm focused in the film so many different ways that I do not disconnect. I don't even get up to go to the fucking bathroom. I do not. I just I'm that committed.
I don't know, man. There's something about watching it in a theater is just a completely different experience
Yeah.
for me.
Yep.
I know it is a totally different experience, but what I'm
I
saying
feel like
is
you
that
appreciate the movie more. It's just
I feel
something
like I
about
appreciate the production and
Yeah.
like the spectacle of the
Yeah.
movie and the fact that, and it's like when I watch it on the big screen, I'm like, so much effort and so many people invested time and money and creativity into making this thing that I'm now watching. Like,
Yeah.
you watch whatever the fuck it was, Ready Player One. It's
Yeah.
like you watch the credits and it's like 90% CGI people were
Yeah.
working on that movie for like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
or some
It's
shit.
10 minutes of worth of
It's
credits.
crazy.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
insane.
You're just like,
2 columns.
this has been like if I watched it at home, I would have just shut it off after like right when the movie
Yeah,
ended and
yeah.
not watch the credits.
Right.
But in the movie theater, I'll stay and watch all the thanks to the fucking Marvel movies. I'll stay and watch the entire credits.
You don't
which
know.
is, cool.
Yeah.
So you get to see little tidbits. I mean,
I agree.
I don't know who these people are.
No, but it's just the one thing you could do. There's the one, you see their name. I don't know. There's something about it.
I'm waiting for Skeletor to jump up and say, "I'll be back."
I'll be
That's
back.
what I'm waiting
no,
for.
you won't. I'll be back. No, you won't, Frank.
Yeah, he won't be back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us here at this random tangent. Get to the podcast. That's Get to the Podcast with number 2. My name is Diego D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambito.
And I'm Neil Carson.
Try to stay on topic next time.
Oh, I thought you were actually singing a song. Oh, yeah. I thought you were singing a song from Bill and Ted.
No.
I'm Bill.
Wait,
I'm Ted. And we are the Wyld
Stallyns. Is that from,
It sounds like Wayne's
Is
World.
that Wayne's World?
Let's do the super happy ending.
Right.
Let's do the Scooby-Doo ending.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.